Wait for the board chair.
Aloha, Ms. Feindt. Please proceed.
Aloha, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you, Mr. Lau and board members, for allowing us the opportunity to testify again and for everything that you continue to do to actually support our community during this crisis. As a mother of two small children who at the age of 1 and 3 years old were poisoned by jet fuel in our drinking water, I'd like to start by highlighting the actual truth, and that is the complete lack of transparency, respect, and empathy the EPA and DOH officials have shown towards the Red Hill impacted families and concerned members of the local community. After 14 months, thanks for finally showing up to hear us say, shame on you for signing off and completely dismissing the families who came to last month's BWS meeting in order to share their story and get their questions answered by you. And since you have not reviewed our testimonies from last month, I'd like to repeat, I do not appreciate you using my children as your test dummies or guinea pigs in this science fair project you have going on. With the number of ongoing medical symptoms, particularly in innocent children, your EALs are clearly not sufficient to ensure the health and safety of this community. I've heard a lot tonight about your priorities associated with defueling. And while I agree that's important, I'd ask that you first start by prioritizing the threat your current EALs still pose to human health. I'd also like to make very clear that I don't appreciate all the I don't knows and the I think so's and I think or maybes and all the nonchalant answers you've given to Mr. Lau and other board members tonight. All the chuckles and the fact that after 14 months, you still don't have clear answers for any of us. This is not a laughing matter. After 14 months, the only thing you've proved to this community is that you are part of the problem, not the solution. Your incompetence and inaction has done nothing but taken away the ability for us to protect our innocent children and prevented medical professionals from properly treating our families. As Susan has stated, we, the impacted families, demand a complete list of contaminants, including your jet fuel additives and cleanup chemicals mentioned this evening, immediately. Last, we are sick of being gaslighted by all of you. How dare you come up to the podium tonight talking about PFAS is everywhere in our carpeting and clothing, etc. When we are clearly all gathered here tonight to talk about the fact that PFAS is in our drinking water. Again, enough with the gaslighting, downplaying the significance of these harmful substances in our drinking water and treating us, quite frankly, like a bunch of idiots. I've risked my life for this country, for our basic human rights, one of which being access to clean water. Any amount of PFAS or jet fuel in our drinking water does not equal clean or safe drinking water. With all of that being said, here are my questions. How is this situation any different than what happened at Camp Lejeune? Are you all completely unaware of the long-term health impacts, cancers, and deaths, particularly childhood death, associated with Camp Lejeune water crisis? Are you consulting with the medical and environmental experts who have been working on that crisis for decades now? And just as Gina asked you to watch a documentary, I'd also ask you all to watch Semper Fidelis, Always Faithful. This is a documentary that follows my mentor, Marine veteran Jerry Ensminger, who buried his daughter at the age of 9 years old as a result of her exposure to the Camp Lejeune drinking water. This documentary points out exactly how you all have treated us. The same way that they were treated is the same way you're treating us. My second question, with the number of ongoing medical symptoms validated by 2 separate ATSDR studies, what is your plan to relook your EALs? Again, your current EALs are clearly not sufficient to protect human health here. Number 3, it has been briefed that DOH's jet fuel EAL was calculated based on potential harm caused to a 70-pound human being. Can you confirm 70 pounds is the accurate weight for your calculations? 4th, can you clarify that when you and the Navy say our drinking water is safe and that there is no fuel detected in our drinking water, does that mean there is actually no fuel in our drinking water or no fuel detected above 266 parts per billion? If we're erring on transparency, we need to know the truth here. With many respiratory issues being reported, with many respiratory issues being reported, why haven't you or the Navy conducted air quality testing in our homes over the past 14 months as part of the monthly monitoring. EPA, knowing your sole responsibility of the agency that you work for, can you please explain this? Why don't you regulate TPH and jet fuel in our drinking water? Can you please confirm if the PFAS detected in our drinking water in 2020 and 2021 was above the legal limit set for PFAS today? Last, with a history of PFAS being in our drinking water and a recent massive PFAS spill, why are we not testing PFAS in our drinking water as part of the monthly monitoring today? I'll stand by for answers to my questions. Thank you.
Miss Feindt, those are actually really good questions. Did you submit written testimony?
I did last month. I can resubmit this. Much were the same from last month, but I can resubmit this, sir.
We'll dig it up, and those are excellent questions. I don't know that our panel here is up to answering those questions. I do think that the question I do really like, and I'm trying to understand, I'm just getting educated here, is why do we regulate the chemicals we regulate? And how is it that we continue to look at different chemicals that should be regulated or not? I don't know that we can get an adequate answer this evening.
Chair, maybe Amanda can prioritize of that long list of questions, the most important questions that, since we have the EPA and DOH here, we try to get at least attempt to get a response from them.
Okay. Which, Ms. Feindt, if you had to pick one question, which one would it be? I'm not saying that they're not going to answer, we're not going to answer any of the rest, but if we had to pick one question right now.
Certainly, I absolutely respect and appreciate that. And quite honestly, after 14 months of waiting for answers, what's a little bit more time, right? But if I had to pick one, and this is especially concerning to me as a parent of small children, both under the weight of 40 pounds, it has been briefed several times that DOH has calculated its EALs based on a 70-pound person, like the effect on a 70-pound person, the amount of harm. Can someone please confirm this?
Hi, and thanks again for the question. And actually, the EALs are based on the risk to children, young children. And we use EPA's assumptions for weight from age 0 to 6. You can look in the document. This is documented in the technical memorandum that discusses the EALs. So it's age 0 to 6. EPA's assumed body weight average during that time is 15 kilograms. So we were strictly following EPA's approach for developing these action items.
Thank you.